Okay, so we will start. Plus Pasuk Yud. Vayelech Yudal Kanani Vayoshem Hebron V'Shem Hebron Lefanim Kiryas Arba. Yehuda went to Kanani, was sitting in Hebron, living in Hebron, and the name of Hebron previously was Kiryas Arba. Vayikul says Sheshai V'Sechiman V'Stamai, and they smote the remaining giants, the 3 and 4 which are still living, Sheshai Achim and Tamai. Evidently, their father had been alive at the time of the Chumash, was no longer alive at this point. The Malbim says, this story, which is mentioned here, this is Pasuk Yud, sorry. Pasuk Yud, Zeni's Kfar was Kibush Yehoshua. Already mentioned among the conquest of Yehoshua. Some of Rosh Hashanah and says that it was Kalev. Kalev ben Yefunah was the one who destroyed the giants. So Yehoshua was in the life of Yehoshua. But so here, why is it enumerated here? So here it enumerates everything which Yehuda conquered. It's already obviously Yehuda, according to this, was already active earlier in the days of Yehoshua, not just the days of Shoftim. But Yehuda already had gone into the Canaanites who live in Hebron. But Yehoshua Chai, well, Yehoshua was still alive. Even though there it talks about Kalev having done it, it's not like a solo thing, which Kalev himself did. It's Rosh Hashanah. He was the head of Shevet. Shivta Achimon, Shevet went with him. Therefore, it refers to both them. Chemin no Leviim, Chemin Atzmani came to Leviim. Rak Sodeha Ir Chatzera, not need to Kalev. The only the Chemin, the city proper, was given to Leviim, was when the cities given to Leviim, where the 48 cities given to Leviim. Only the surrounding area and Chatzera and it's yards, it's fields and yards. Nino Kalev, we're given Kalev, and therefore the Shnei is Amtu Be'orosh Hasam. Therefore, the rest of the Shevet, which also had areas in the area of Hebron, together with Kalev, went and they involved themselves in conquering that area. So in the Bigdei Shesh, I wrote here, Koma says Shuba Psukim Aboim, all the stories just brought them in the subsequent Psukim. How Huva Mikvar Sefer Yehoshua, as very broad Sefer Yehoshua. Chazal, Mevarim Shemaisis Uchbak De Lamdein Lijoshua B'Tzunon of Sefes Al Perusha HaPashut. So the reason Chazal gave as to why it was repeated here is not the Pashut shot. What Malbim said was in order to be able to include all the conquests of Yehuda in one long list. But the Chazal say it's included a second time in order that we should darshan it. We should learn out something else, not the simple meaning of the psukim. We have Psukim Pidrash, and he explains the psukim based on a drasha. The Malbim has many questions here, which we'll perhaps take a look at in a moment. Save the Kuti Mamorim, beer of Tzaddik drasha, and the Kuti Mamorim, which is Tzaddik explains the drasha Chazal make. It says that when they were mourning Moshe Rabbeinu, they forgot 3,000 halachos. And Asniel Beknaz, who was the shofet after Yehoshua, he restored those halachos with his pupil. And in other words, they knew approximately what they lost. They knew exactly. So they are capable of restoring halacha is proper in-depth learning. That's what Sneal led that effort. And the 3,000 Shemakbilos Sholosh Matanas Tovos of the Beisai. They correspond to the three gifts which they had received in the Midbar, which they lost during this time. Habe'er, the well of Miriam, Hamon, under covered, and the clouds of glory. And the Rebbe explains how the Asniel brought back these halachos. Because in the course of his writing, he writes as follows. The The Asiyah Meknaz, the Asiyah Metok Pilpula. The Asiyah Meknaz brought back these alongside of the Pilpul, which custom in the Dorim. It's a fascinating one in the Dorim. It says, Pilpula Nita Moshe Rabbeinu L'Shem. The concept Pilpul, learning in depth, was given to Moshe Rabbeinu. Funav no Tovasayin. And he did, he was nice about it. He was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, the Nasi, so he gave it to the Jewish people. Perush. So it's a strange thing, right? It was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he did us a favor. He gave it to the rest of us. Perush pupil who chidush davar chachma misecha. Pupil literally is pepper. You spice something, and you spice and you get a new taste, right? So you spice your learning, you get a new taste in your learning. So, so this is it's a chidush davar, a new concept. Which you use your wisdom in order to intellectually derive. That's Moshe Rabbeinu, who had this tremendous chachma, was able therefore to learn out lots of new things. And every time a chacham is called Moshe, it's the language which the Gemara uses. Moshe, Shapir Kamarta. When one Amora talks to another Amora, says Moshe, did you say good? So in other words, we're referring to each other as Moshe, so to speak. So that Moshe is any type of chacham who can come up with a new idea based on his in-depth learning. And from these new ideas and learning, a person can attain umagia and reach madregas hamalchus, level of kingship. Now, kingship doesn't mean to be an actual king. But Chazal say much closer. Chazal say King Dav Samach Beis, Man Machi, who are the kings, the rabbis. So in other words, what does a king do? A king rules over a country. What does a Talmid Chacham do? A Talmid Chacham, by coming up with new halachos and applications of halachos, brings the rule of Hashem into the world. He's a king in the sense it's like a king imposes and enforces. It sometimes comes up with new laws. So Talmid Chacham imposes and enforces sometimes with new laws as a representative of Hashem in this world. Also Nevuah. The Talmid Chacham can come to the level of Nevuah. Now, Nevuah in this sense means, he's going to explain, not that you see visions of the future. That type of Nevuah, Talmid Chacham doesn't get. So, but yet it says, K'mosh Chesed Chacham Adi Navi. The Gemara in Baba Basra, Daf Yibei says a Chacham is superior to a Navi. Chacham is better than a Navi. Babi Shini Nevuah, and even though Nevuah is taken away from action of beam, we no longer have action of beam. Chachamim still get Nevuah. What do they have? In Baba Basra. What's Chacham is Bezeh Davar Hainu Davar Bar Ben Marav Lo B'chidos. This is what's called the Muzak Chachamim, and it's superior to a regular Nevuah, so to speak. Of course, the regular Nevuah has its own superiority. It's direct message from Hashem. It's not a direct message from Hashem. But what a Talmid Chacham comes up with his wisdom, it's not in a riddle. He doesn't have to see a vision and interpret it. He gets direct understanding and knowledge of whatever he's thinking about and analyzing. He has something again. Davar bar such as Tir ben Mareh, you can see it clearly. It's not in riddles. It's not a vision that's interpreted. It's clear to him. Because he has proof from his learning. Shukach, that this is the case. The Tami Yoim, he saw something. He can give a reason. He's not interpreting a message which is coming from outside. It's a reason which comes from the inside. So it's clear to everybody, Shukadvar, that what he's saying is correct. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu given Nevuah, everybody can tell that it was correct because it was the word of Hashem. Any other Navi, he approximates, he has to interpret. He gets a vision, he has to interpret and come up with an explanation. Moshe Rabbeinu, everybody understood this is Hashem speaking out of Moshe Rabbeinu's mouth, so to speak, word for word. But and so too, if any Talmid Chacham is a Talmid Chacham who comes up with legitimate new understanding of halacha, that also is everybody can recognize because it's demonstrable. It's clear to everybody. And the Nevi'im, they can't come up with their own ideas. Because it says, and even if Hashem gives them an idea, we can't necessarily pass that way. Because Lo B'Shamayim, we say the Torah can't be decided by Nevuah. It's got to be decided by the standard tools and the standard procedures that Kodesh Baruch Hu gave us. So even if he comes down and says, this is halacha, we'd say, oh yeah, who says who? Mara and Bamatzia, Dafim Tes. When the voice came down and said, Chacham said, no. We follow the majority. And the majority of us, we don't hold like Rabbi Elazar ben Horkonos. It's an amazing concept. Commercial Amar the Yeshua Lohem, like Yeshua said to them, they're not allowed, when he asked Yeshua to bring down the 3,000 halachas, which were forgotten, he said, I can't do it. Halacha doesn't come from Shemayim except through Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu gave halacha, then it came from Shemayim, because that was word for word, precise, without any question. But any other, even a Navi who brings down halacha, it's not, can't accept it for him because there's some interpretation which the Navi is putting into what he's teaching us. Also the kingship, the rule, which Hamacham has true melucha. Most kings rule arbitrarily as they feel, as they please. Hamacham rules based on reason. So therefore, it's a much truer malchus. The be'er mayin of b'korach chachma, because it's like a spring and a well which is flowing with wisdom. Which calls to be malachim imlochim. So, but in me, kings actually rule properly. Tamachos mitzad Torah. This kingship comes out of account of Torah. Kashem mayon oveh, and when a person is this gushing spring, as in a posted cloud, it never stops. Malchus says his rule is an eternal rule. Lachain, therefore, in the following psukim, we're going to see there's a drasha that Bikash Asniel asked the question, asked Hashem to Baruch V'Chem Pir V'Rivya. I want to have many children. But based on lots of sons and daughters. But Chazal say, on a different level, the level of the drasha, which we're going to see when we get to the psukim, Kanamar B'Torah V'Talmidim. He's not talking about actual children, he's talking about students, Torah and students. It's the same thing. It's the same bracha. Expansiveness, expansion, going to another generation. It's just question is how you ask for it and how the bracha is granted. But it's asking Kodesh Baruch Hu to expand, asking Kodesh Baruch Hu to expand the actual children. Asking Kodesh Baruch Hu to expand, asking Kodesh Baruch Hu to expand in ways which have to do with more talmidim, more students. Moshe Rabbeinu of Hashem, she was rabbi, she saw Moshe Rabbeinu was the rabbi of Chayisrael. Zahar Gankin Labayas and Gvul Bari Bonos. He had not his immediate children, but later on he had tremendous amounts of descendants. Moshe was out the rabbi of Mount Shimei, they had more than 600,000 descendants. I don't know the time period, but he had more than 6,000 descendants. And the idea is that this idea of increasing the boundaries of Torah, which Osniel did, which Moshe Rabbeinu did, has this idea of expanding also one's boundaries in physical children, physical descendants. So what we're going to see in the coming psukim, and we're going to leave them for next time, is that Kodesh Baruch that Osniel has this conversation, which is more explained in Divrei Yomim. But it has explanation with this conversation with his daughter about giving her resources and giving her a nice place to live. And all this takes place on two levels. It takes place as a simple level, which we're going to discuss here. But since we repeated Yehoshua and repeated here, it means there's also a much more profound level, which we're going to see when you see the Malbim on the next few psukim. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. We'll cut it short because we only got 2 people tonight. Hopefully next week we'll be able to get some more people. Thank you very much, you guys, for coming. Shkoyach.